go to the audience. On the new radio station. We will send it to you today. It's a fascinating story. She is a 40-year-old widow. I invite you to listen. My village is on a river. The river comes back from the upstream with so much power. It's about 1 kilometer from the top of my village. The river runs straight through my village for about 3 kilometers. Like fate, a river is blocked by a mountain. The flood waters of the river choked. So my village was stripped of 5 neighborhoods. My grandfather said, the village has a history of hundreds of years. A small road runs through the village. The streets are divided by neighborhoods. My last neighborhood was shaped like a flag tail. On that little flag tail, it's just my house and a house in the back. My father was a city boy. After college work up here, fascinated by my mother's voice, I was held back. My husband is 8 years younger than me. At my house is my mother's SAO, solid healthy. On the contrary, my brother is slim. I look exactly like my 53-year-old father. I came home from school at noon to find guests in the house. Oh my God, he's a great princess. I crossed my arms. Stand up. 6 in handbag, give me rubber balls. I have bright eyes, thank you. And then we'd skip lunch and get busy with you guys. Then I found out later that you came. I was given away to build my house. The land outside. At the end of the flag, the house is raised. The day I cleaned my house was hypnotized. Look at your son's wife. That day I was called beautiful. You are beautiful and young compared to me. I found out later. I worked in geology and married her when I was under 17. New family meal. I'm having fun. I went out to dinner with my mom and went out with a little girl named Lan. My son is 9 years old. I'm studying at night. I saw you tell my mother something. I saw you laughing again. Later my mother called me and said, go to Miss Tao's house to sleep tonight. Because baby Lan afraid of ghosts do not dare to sleep alone. When I saw you, my mother said, if you are in the restaurant, you have to help your uncle. Go to bed early. New house aunt uncle has a bed in the room. And I slept with little Lan in the bunk outside. Lie down for a long time. There was a flicker of laughter and the sound was strange. I'm tired so I fall asleep. I wake up in the middle of the night and hear strange sounds. Just light you. I don't know what it was because I was a kid. Later, I heard her voice say, I haven't had 2 minutes to wait a month. People are in the province doing a lot of things. I'm a little tired, my wife. I don't know where to find the temple. Or when you pee in the morning, do something else. Remember, now your wife is going to wash. Then the door opened. She pushed the door out of the bathroom. There's a sound of water. It seems like you are taking a shower. It is so hot to take a bath at night. Then I fell asleep. When I woke up, I felt heavy breathing. Oh my God, a whole leg squeezed across my nose. Then RA is a sleeping Lan turned sideways to me. In the morning, I told you that the whole family laughed. But Miss Thao is red-faced. The next day he returned to the office. I'm not going to go over to baby Lan's house to sleep with my mom. I don't understand what you said. My mother told me to go to sleep. You can't sleep at the end of the neighborhood. The house has no fence, the paint has to go on duty. The sleep of higher. I don't know if there's anyone like me, but it's fate. Follow me until now. Uncle Sun left and I became a hired sleeper. Everything is getting familiar. I come back to Miss Tao's house every night after class. I forgot or was late. Then Babyland ran over. It seems my presence. Every night, she and Babyland sleep well. About 3 weeks later, he returned with a crew and a car. Fence material is finished. The land is rezoned. The garden is planted. I don't go through a lot of people these days. But I suddenly have a sense of nostalgia. He painted again to go to the party near my house is full. My mother said funny, you have to pay me for my sleep. I do not understand why Uncle Sun intimate lung shoulder I said. Is this kid public? I laughed shyly. I'm waiting for you to pay me back. When you're not home. The whole family laughed. The workers are still joking. I'll take care of the house tomorrow. She looked at me and turned red. My ears don't understand anything. But I'm ashamed to run away. Ran Theo crying he told you to leave. Holding his hand, I laughed and said last afternoon. My house has no buffalo. My mother's sister has a sick uncle. Back to school at noon. I asked you to help me this afternoon. Lan jumped up and laughed and demanded Theo. Lan and I led the buffalo out to the field. Beach in the village. The shepherd children's own panjang. Lying by the river. We were all messing around one afternoon. Me and Lan went to the beach. There's enough buffalo. Where are we going? Only a girl named Snow is about 13 years old. Sitting cool. The Snow told them to steal oranges from your garden. It's hot. The buffalo sought shade and sputtered down the beach. Don't know what to do. I'm screaming shower, guys. All three responded. It's so obvious that kids only have pants. So the husband whistles up. I climbed the old river tree. The tree that grows close to the cliffs and the trunk goes out to the river. Choose which branch is the farthest. I climbed up and jumped. I'm lost under my clear blue water. Rising up and clinging to the flaming branches right at the water screaming. It's so cool. The children's commotion leads to agitation. Take off your clothes as well. I dive down and rise up and grab the fig tree. Playing with the water. When I get up I can't believe my eyes. Right above my head, Lan is unclothed. Walking on the branches of the fig tree. 12 years old but beautiful Lan. There's a feeling of something in the mysterious slot. She was afraid of falling and I fumbled and screamed. You can't walk in the water, Lan. She walked slowly. I looked up and there was little motivation. There's a lot of that. Every step is something closed off. I'm burning like a pale aunt. Out to the fork, Lan trunk, sit down. Oh my god, something is expanding. I see a pale pink one. I spit in my chest. Dance, dance, dance. Lan lost under the clear blue water. My hands are tight, my hands are tight. It's water pushing, she's clinging to me. According to the man's natural instincts. Then the Kia. Lan screaming out loud. Cool, too cool. I was surprised by the strange feeling. I also took a shower. The snow screeched and I told Theo to take a shower. The snow too. No piece of cloth to cover, because at home, he's out in the sun all day. But strangely enough, I sipped the water. Oh my god, it's so dark. It seems to have a yellow tinge as if it were pre-plated. When the snow falls, open your eyes to the clear blue water. The snow is beautiful. It rises up. Land with snow may be because it is carefree, so do not notice. But to me, it's a strange, strange feeling. I haven't forgotten it yet. 3 of them clinging to the river. Only that branch is the lowest. So the 3 of us kept scraping together. And of course it's underwater. So we are also obedient to B.A.'s Kia. But he noticed something unusual, and he blushed. But strangely enough, both land and snow are still on the scene. 5 minutes later, I saw snow. I understood later. I was the first man. Make the snow happy. Sometimes it's because of this river bathing memory. The joy of nature and childish carelessness. I first discovered that feeling at the age of 10. 34 girls grow up with their son. Dreaming like me. It's so unintentional to know, and ever after. Snow, and I still remember the years. Go to her garden. Thao trees are so green. The well was dug in the corner of the yard. Banana dust is green and about to bloom. The end of the garden is covered in red. My land, and I didn't sleep at noon. We're picking flour upside down. The bile droplets that settle in the bottom of the stem. Suddenly the golden puppy came running up and jumped on him. Then is it follow us. Floating between 2 rows of dense trees. Suddenly it's barking, when he sees the strange dog walking outside the fence. He ran after the dog and turned around. Man running, follow me, pull back. He bit my dog. But it's not. He sniffed, and then suddenly he jumped up behind the dog. It's a dance of urgency. But it's rhythmic and rhythmic. Both me and the land stood dumbfounded watching. The bitch screamed. The stronger the rhythm, the flaming land. Suddenly he held my hand silently. My heart is pounding. Then the land gripped my hand, and my hand didn't stop. The 2 of us have never been so close. The bush hidden in the silent summer noon. The 2 of us are so close together. Shy girl, shyness barrel. We're apart. You both know what 2 dogs do. In the afternoon the lightning struck. My husband was in an accident. The steel fell on his head. You look like a dead man looking at the land. Back tears. I suddenly thought of the words of the last day. Uncle, son, go. I gave it all to you. The next summer the pain was gone. You are happy again. That afternoon the radio kept reporting that the storm was approaching. The dark clouds pull back to the north and the rain falls. 2 days of storm all night. The tree crashed against the roof, the tiles poured into the house. She looked confused. I'm wearing a raincoat and I'm cutting down an olive tree. I went into the house wet as a rat peeling off its pale, shivering mouth. The house is wet. She brought me hot water. I started wiping awkwardly. I left my clothes under the oil lamp. He forced me to sit down and get a quick towel. The hot water warmed my hands and pulled me up. Suddenly hesitated. When you saw my bottom. It's something. Suddenly she said softly. Big boy is fast. I awkwardly turned upside down along her. You left me and rushed in. Take the clothes you told me to put on. She pushed me into her bed with Lan. The blanket came back and cleaned up. A moment later she came in, her voice softened cold. I sat up in an uneasy state. My first time in this bed. The pillow smells of pigeon hair. I'm going out for a while. I was going to go home, she said. The lightning struck so hard that Mom wanted to die. Then she took another blanket and put me to bed. Your voice is soft. South is out, you're in the middle. Pull open blanket piece. Turn face and pull blanket cover discreetly for Lan. Lan had fallen asleep and she returned to her voice slightly. Is it cold? I didn't say hold her hand, she said. My hands are cold as ice. Then she pulled me in and hugged me tight. Her breath softened. She asked if the cold was gone. I didn't say anything, I just kept hugging her. The hands are like magic. Instinctively, yes, you are. Try just to shut up and not let it go. But you seem helpless. It's jerking around outside, it's buzzing. A loud thunderbolt. Being startled accidentally showed me your Kia. It's soft. I haven't touched one in over a year. So it seems like you're very upset, so you breathe softly. Nom. I don't know if it was intentional or intentional. I saw you wet. It seems you wet the bed. It's not bedwetting. Why is it stuck like this? And so am I. It seems like I've been bruised just like you. I've been in the air for a long time. When the thunder roars again. The door outside banged. The tree in my garden was blown away by the storm. I woke up and saw something. Lan sleeping in a dream. I barely realized you and I were still sleeping together. The choking sound from you makes me fall in love. God, you seem to be crying. You and I have not done too much. Wake up a stream of tears, I'm silent. God, I'm making you sad. You've been so happy all these years. I've made you cry. I sat up and whispered in my mouth. I'm sorry. She must have put her hand on my shoulder and dragged me down. I don't know what you're thinking. After a while, get up and go outside. I lay still for a while and then I went away too. You're sitting on the sofa. It seems like you're thinking about something. I sat down next to her and I opened my mouth and I stammered. I can't say anything else. You're already leaning on me. She said if you didn't die, you'd suffer like this. She choked again and I said, I have you, and I love you so much. I don't know why I said that. Are you serious, Nom? I rubbed my face and she nodded. Look deep into my eyes, she said. This is an adult thing, you know? Who knows about this? You only have death to escape. I said you can keep it, but you're a grown woman. She laughed and asked loudly. Then I blinked and motioned to her how loud she was. You said softly, people hurt. In the dead of night. A very married woman and a young man. Blended together. No pity for heaven. A whole area of space. Nature white showing off black. Pliers and strong silk. You don't have to talk about water. I'm hot and you're hot. It was soft, she said in her breath. Nom nom, you still have tang. Miss, your story is over. But my dear, you. Then the sound comes out endlessly. And then it drags on a stormy night. I soared through 9 clouds in waves. Nom amoeba nom. I went away for joy. When it was the first time with you, it was. I closed my eyes and understood. The rain winds my life and she's coming. Passing in a trance. I saw you cover me with a blanket, and gently cuddle me as if for a child. Suddenly I thought of, you and I will never be apart again. Every nation has a different culture. But they all have something in common. It's that no one turns their back on their homeland. Going home is not a big deal. It makes me miss the water, the garden, and the roof of the house where I was born. Maybe my parents are still alive and childhood memories spent each other baked potatoes. The winter school holidays are freezing, with bare feet without a boss. For me, it's a memory of wanting to spend time with that AI. About a flooded village that year. Light out. I woke up to my mother's noise at my door. Miss Thao, then I came to ask Han how the storm was last night. She pointed to the roof, and splashing rainwater on the sheets. She said, last night, if it wasn't for me, the roof would have toppled over. My mother copied my mouth. There is no such thing as a miserable man. Maybe the army came back last night. I don't know how to manage. But the whistleblower didn't come out. How healthy and fast is the boy? I'm here to help you. I stick my head out of the blanket and stretch my shoulders out into the yard. Strangely, my Kia doesn't have a good morning anymore. Then I dimly remember everything that happened last night. Something I never dared to think about. My mother went to the bathroom. I sat in the sky looking down at the garden, gloss and smooth flat back. The bottom of the bee's back, their lines fluttered with their long legs. The pink man is cutting vegetables. Oh my God, I dreamt last night that you were beautiful. I dreamt of remembering. Then I saw something fishy wet. She watched quietly for a long time as she wrapped up her vegetables. The water flowed into a stream that made her show something dim. I'm hot again, I'm calling you. She looked at me kindly and said, when you wake up, are you tired? I shook my head and looked at her silently. She avoided my sight softly. Mom called back. Hi, I'm going home. I ate 2 to 8 hot rice with fish. I told the fish to cross the pond into the garden. I caught it. My husband and I cleaned up all 10 bananas. Running through the broken tiles. Ran from outside the river running back loudly. Go to the river, the whole neighborhood is collecting firewood. I'll run to the river. The river is rising. The river's bed spread across the beach. 10 boats competing for wood. Drifting by the river. Me and the land clapping softly. When you see there are houses. Dogs and ducks drifting along the water. The innocent child does not know. Disaster is coming. My mother ran out screaming about cutting vegetables running flood. Cut my house to your house. We're all tired, and the rice is packed up. The pigs are taken out of the barn and dragged to the mound. In the evening the water rose rapidly, the sound of the cattle. The water is flooded outside the neighborhood. My mother said sadly, it's been 4 days since I made this rice. What the fuck? The sound of the flood's flow is intertwined. Man radiates from house to house. Just hearing pigs and cows is enough. I know the water has come in. I ran like a shuttle between my house and her house. You said you don't know how to manage without a man. Because your village here, the water never floods. My mother told me to drop 2 men boats on the floor. Pre-soak water for leakage. I saw my mother was so quick, I asked. Mom, I didn't ask my dad to help me. Like poking through a beehive, my mother's voice echoing. Your father is never there these days. Your father has to worry about the water. Later I saw my mother calm down. I took the land to see the first water. Then run back to help Miss Thao chop wood to cook rice early. The big rain room and the big wind couldn't cook. Everyone is wet and tired. Miss Thao brought a pot of boiled water to RA, poured into the field outside the well. I mixed warm water and washed innocently. She brings the rest of the water into the bathroom, the brick bathroom. The door is a thin raincoat. Bamboo stick. When someone comes in the shower, I'm constantly enjoying the warm water. Then the wind came from the river. Strong and weak. I turned around looking for the bathroom soap. Oh my God, there's a big raincoat corner. The bathroom door is woven up and down with the wind. The orthopedic woman is clearly standing, pouring water on me. A pink white follow her to stop standing and sit again. Sit and stand again, turn back to me through the hole of the banana leaf boat. I swallowed Khan's flushed face. Take a look through. Watch very carefully that the water flows into a stream. Suddenly you turn around. A whole building of white nature glistening out like plaster. There's a female goddess that's spinning around. It was only later that I understood what a girl was. A shuttle spinning your face away. That's what I showed a little bit last night. It is now in the middle of the day. It's so beautiful. If they are like this, whose father can stand it? I can't stand any longer. In the past, men didn't have the opportunity. I took a quick shower and got dressed to let the fire down. And I wish. If only it were you and me like last night. How happy it is. It was my first feeling home when my mom called. My mother's voice. Miserable flag, miserable flag. Then Uncle Lamb took the buffalo to run the flood, then soaked in cold water. Recurrent stomach pain must follow the boat back home. 3 buffalo left out there. She looked at me like she wanted to ask the visionary tonight. The army laughed and said, "Come on, Nom." I'm sorry, Father. If there are no cows, I can go to Miss Tao's house again tonight. I went to Miss Tao's house to borrow some straw. I took some more clothes and packed some straw. Hold by the flashlight. Swim with the army across the field. More than 3 kilometers. The floodplains are the hills that border my village. Quan asked forever on the change is still not there. Because 7 chow is crowded, Uncle Lamb gave chow, up to the last change. That's far away from the Kia. With a stream of water, width about 500 m. No one wants to pass through. I think there is a lot of grass here. My husband and I went up the hill. Suddenly the snow came down. Then his cattle are also here. He laughed and said he had a friend. The snow is like snow. He asked if his family would send him food and clothes. Bring out the clothes. When I hit the buffalo, it was all wet. I coaxed him to eat with me. It's shy, thank you. There's a vegetable patch on the other side of the hill. And there's this little shack on the edge of the beach. I found the sound of a bucket of moldy water. Give me my dry clothes, change them. He finished his bath. And then back to the bag and the suit. I lend. Then the snow brings the wet clothes to the drying fence. He and I went to sleep. The buffalo were taken to the abandoned house. Nylon sheet is spread out. The snow sat in a corner. I'm trying to snare hungry mosquitoes. Busy talking about children. Suddenly thunder echoed in the far sky. Across the line came the flash of black cloud, signaling the long rain. The snow is like fear. I'm no better. But I don't understand why. I quickly figured out how to solve it. Snow packing. And I tied the buffalo to the pillars of the house. Last night the storm made her hair patchy. Sure, the buffalo must be wet. The 2 of you were shoveling, following the flashlight to the tent. Fortunately, the tent is pretty solid. And when the virtual showers come, I cleaned the nightstand. It's only a meter across. Spreading raincoat. and gently held up the snow hand and told it to sit down. Both me and him are shy. I don't know how to start. About where he slept, his face flushed at the age of 16. The hair is so smooth, big eyes glistening. It reminds me of 3 years ago. He and I had a great memory. The feeling of restlessness. For the first time, I accidentally did something. The rain was ringing. The wind whipped against the fence's roof. The flashlight shows signs of weakness, and I have to turn it off. Sitting in the dark, I asked Snow if she remembered the river bath. He said only the snow can forget. The darkness reminds me of how I felt last night. Be with Miss Thao. Makes me hot like a natural instinct. Whispered my voice softly. What did the snow ask me, man? I didn't say anything. And then we couldn't help it. The snow's breathing gradually became heavy. I don't know if we're right or wrong. But I can't stop, and so can the snow. There's no confession. There is no promise of love. The snow breathed furiously as the wind crashed behind the door. The sound of a sound in waves. Then accidentally the two of us touched our lips. Endless long kiss. Everything has to come. It was my first snow and my second. I sat still for a long time and woke up. When the snow sat with her back to the tent city, sobbing and emotions surging. At the age of 16, I have become a real man. While in the countryside, sometimes my friends are still carefree. I bathe in the river every evening. Snow, I'm awake. When the snow's cry fades in the corner of the tent. I don't know anything at this age. There's an AI that teaches them how to play. It's not a boy or a girl. I only know that at night I am happy with the image. Just a girl. So it's just this and that. But I'm luckier. It was done with you last night. And tonight it's snow again. Those two things were unwittingly uncalculated. It's like a miracle in heaven and earth. How to make. I woke up sitting close to the snow. I asked Snow. Is there snow? Doesn't hurt much. Snow breathed softly when cared for. You made me bleed. It hurts. If tomorrow his father knows that his family is full of brothers, but his father would dare to touch his son. I'm scared, my heart pounding with regret and care about the snow. It slowly calms the pain. The pain is gone. Is the snow gone? It hurts somewhere. I don't know if this is the place. Yes, the pain is too painful for the snow to hurt you again. Your voice is soft. For the first time in my life, someone called me. There's a feeling of joy in my heart. The good luck was given to me yesterday. There is more snow today. What a coincidence. It helped me understand what it's like to be a man or a woman. I woke up when the bird screeched its head. Last night, the snow and I were still scratching. Then I waited for me to pull back the blanket for the snow. Far off the horizon, the dawn has dawned to find a hiding place. Finished talking, I poured water in the lot where the tent door washed my face. The cool water woke me up. Look at the dark tent. I suddenly thought, is this need solving or love? It's something I can't define. But it makes me proud. Because a 16-year-old boy like me. It has been known for 2 omissions. In the 2 stormy nights of this dear village. I'll always remember it in my heart. This beautiful memory. Looking down at the vast field of water. Far away looming, there's a boat that's turning and rocking and reaching. I'm dead. Someone's sailing to this thigh. I rushed in. I bumped into the snow and woke up bewildered. What is it? My dad or whoever posted it. In the snow, put on your clothes and cover the blanket. Meanwhile, I took the hammock with me. Across the tent door, then lie down. Climb up tight. A moment later, I heard footsteps coming closer. That person looking at the tent in the rising dawn. Snow, snow, snow. The call was heard and the door opened. Peek into the sideways, then look at the sleeping hammock. And then look at the pedestal, who lies on a rolled blanket. The two are separated. The father of snow doesn't understand. Last night, the two of them got married. Forget the earth. Let the rain storm outside. We stood up as if we were bewildered. I received 8 rice from the father of the snows, while the eyes looked at each other smiling. The sun has risen. He told us to sail home. Let the buffalo stay. You look all over. On the way back to see the water. Is the water the boat glides across the field? Look at the shadow of snow. It's tilting in the water. With the body blossoming. I wish there was ever snow. Let snow and I be together again. Enjoy the wonderful moments together. Children born and raised in the village. And study in the city. Spread throughout the 4 directions because of how hard it is to earn a living. Today I look back on my hometown with many old memories. There's no AI, there's no AI. Or there's no AI, dreaming like I don't. If you give me one wish, I'll buy back the past. So as not to remember. Away from home the boat that carried me and the snow was falling. Swimming in a field of water. Looking at the snow is fun. He laughed and laughed in his heart. I looked at it and then I asked. I love going to snow. I don't know what love is. But me and the snow are fun. He looked at me and asked, Do you love Mom? I didn't say anything. The snow told me it was real. Along the trees through the neighborhoods, I talked with Snow about the flooded village. The flood is beautiful, Mom. I just laughed and said nothing. I went home and slept until noon. I called back out the door. Look at the 5 houses on the water that have reached the threshold. 3 horizontal houses are about more than 3 meters. My mother and son are packing. Below the large courtyard, the water was more than 1 meter deep. Lan is swimming there. He waved so innocently seeing me he exclaimed. Take a shower, Nom. I looked at him and rubbed my eyes. R.A. is wearing an old khaki suit. Days of rain and flood, no sun, nothing to wear. But the Lan is wearing an old light suit. It's very thin to see the wet water clinging to the transparent, so it just ignores. My 13-year-old daughter's body is white. It's so buoyant, exposing it all. I dropped my shirt and jumped into the field, take a dive and swim with it. Girls, boys flood, everyone's good at swimming. It's clinging to me. I swam away and came closer to the jackfruit tree. See if any are ripe. Clap your hands and find each boom. When he was 9, he looked up at his neck and waited for the baby to roar. A jackfruit that fell and then floated. Lan swims follow the jackfruit into near the marinade. It made him drink a few sips of water. I swam to get the Lan. I didn't expect anything to happen. If he is confused, R.A. is an old pair of pants. Loose elastic band. I lost my pants when I didn't know. I laughed so hard, swim out to find the jackfruit. And the pants caught in the banana leaf train. Give back to Lan. It's awkward and can't be worn. Because one hand still has to cling to a jackfruit branch with his pants back. Put your feet up so you can wear your pants. Then my eyes sparkled. when the beauty of a 13-year-old girl appeared right in front of me. When confused, I'm also embarrassed. The pants never fit. Then everything goes by. When the pants are back on, I tied my pants with a banana string. Sure, it didn't slip. My mother's screaming like a house on fire. You're taking a shower again. There are no clothes to wear quickly. Get dressed in time for the sun. I'll beat Cho now. We laughed at each other and swam into the house. I wonder, why do I always encounter this kind of ignore? Probably in 3 years, Lan is just like snow. Hi, this accidentally scared me and embarrassed me. But it's as good as catching a tang. The innocent adolescence of Flood Village children. Forever the memory is imprinted until now. Where are you? My mother's voice. Stop the thought in my head. I'm with the land dressing bar. It's awkward, it seems awkward. The shame of the girl growing up in front of me. I have to urge him. Quick change of clothes. Reach for the towel I gave Lan to wipe. He turned around and picked up the towel. The beauty of the goddess is here. It was like the snow last night and the snow the other night. Especially when you take a shower. That image keeps popping up in my head. My mother screamed again. Fast food and bring rice for you. Children forget so much. I forgot to look at you and you. Come home and eat. Then look at the military. 2 tall clams are also eating. I wonder if my 2 brothers aren't the same. You're tall and thin and you don't make it up to me. My arms are stuck and I'm done with the rice. I'm going to give you. The garden is about 100 meters between the 2 houses. Banana topping. I slipped the boat into the house. Water flooded the floor to the waist. The outside bed is floating. I can't see you anywhere. I just heard the water in the room. I want to stand up, Tim. Look at you pouring water on me. She stood on the bed. Last night was raised to 2 bamboo trees higher than the water. Her figure shimmered in the falling sun. The pale white water of the empty space. You haven't seen me. When the last drops of water seep away. Under the towel. She turned her eyes red as if she were crying. I rushed in and walked up to the side. You're really crying. She hugged me crying like the rain. You couldn't sleep all night. Lonely in a room at the end of the neighborhood. The water is immense, while the land sleeps by my house. In the middle of the night, a snake crawled up and scared her. Then she sat on her pillow. I wish there was a man next to me. I held her shoulder and comforted her in my arms. I'm confused. I have to put the rice cooker down and light the towel. You are so beautiful in front of me. Man, you are so miserable. You must be going to your mother's house. She replied, and then she soared slightly, and I said, I'm back. Mom is back with you. Don't be afraid. And then her lips and mine tied together instinctively. I use my mouth forever. I'll find out later. RA is a woman. How happy would a man be to use his mouth? I'm going to choke on you because there's too much of you. For the first time in my life, I wanted to breathe. Suddenly, the captain's husband swam by. Miss Thao, is there a SAO in the house? You and I are scared. The captain is in danger. She remained calm and did not leave me and just said out loud. No, SAO, everything is fine. Then you and I soared for joy. In a tight space. You and I seem to have forgotten everything. No one knows what a flood is. It's been 15 minutes. Miss Thao, Mom is very happy. Thao also lost the soft person RA. It seems like you haven't slept all night. The exhilarating delight. I'm tired after the curtain just fell apart. It was such a pleasure to make you go away. Look at the poor woman in front of you. I wonder. There is such a beautiful woman in the world. Why did you leave her in this flooded village? Then the day of war. Fate will push you and me to meet again. In this ironic circumstance. She opened her eyes awkwardly and looked at me. How long have you slept? I didn't just ask if you were tired. She smiled very happy, Mom, but she was scared. You're back. She shook her head afraid she was pregnant. For a long time, many people wanted to be the father but you don't want to. The land will suffer. See you here now. At that time, I still did not understand what she had just said. Looking out at the floor, I saw a light hanging from the iron. Hanging corrugated sheet. There are 3 bricks above the black pot. It looks like a beehive. Curious, I asked. Do you boil water? She told me to cook the root water with the leaves forever. I later found out you were afraid of being pregnant. That folk medicine except Thai is forever in me. Until now rumbling. The water rushed down the river of the village over there, dragging the shore by the water. The river on the mudslide. How much land the village over there pedals back and forth. So that my village's riverside beach. Every year, every long out in the distance. It's the same as landslide waves. Oscillating chamber. She leaned down next to me. My white legs are plump. Their lines blooming wet. Then she whispered in my ear like before. I love you again, just this once. And forever away from this love on the left. I'm dumbfounded, it feels so refreshing. But I don't understand. Forever away from what you just said. It's just a man's natural instinct. Then happy again. Then the pleasure passed. You and I are immobile. Roll out the water-covered bed. When I woke up I didn't see her. Just hear the outside. So you drove the chicken cages through my house. I'm swimming back. If your eyes are red, you will cry. You said you were afraid of being alone, afraid of losing the first feeling of a new beginning. But full of anxiety and fear. I don't know what to say. At my age, I can understand these things. Just knowing is enough. I'll take your stuff on the boat. Flooding to my house. My mother is in a hurry. Just bring all your stuff over here. The boys slept there tonight. But suffering. I didn't think I'd let you sleep alone last night. The flood passes by. It's taken away from my village all the green rice. Now there are only flags. How many chickens and ducks go by the water, but nature is magical. It leaves behind a very fertile essay coat that's thick as a cast iron. The pig wind may return. My mother and the whole neighborhood plowed through the cornflakes. Colored vegetable beans. Every afternoon I follow my mother to the field after carrying water. From the river up to the vegetable patch. Cabbage, lettuce, and cornflakes. One afternoon I went to the corner of the yard. I saw my mother sitting with my father and father. So my mother is talking about getting married. I didn't want to, but my mom said she was away from work. I want a daughter-in-law to help with the housework. And went with Miss Thao to see the eyes of the people in the next village. Her distant cousin Thao. When my mother said it very well, the new army fell in love. I walk in and I shout. My family is about to have a sister-in-law. What about the snow? Every day I slow down to wait. Every time I see you on the way home from school. The snow just gave me a loving look. On the way home, there were not only 2 people. I don't have a chance to separate myself from the snow like the night before the flood. In the evening, I went to her house. You look at me still. I didn't dare to be mysterious to you since that afternoon. Because I saw you turn your face away. When I went to study with the Lan. Then I cover the blanket and go to bed, because there's mosquitoes buzzing around in their ears. Go to the bed and ask. There are mosquitoes Sao cannot see take the spotlight hit. I hesitated to answer, probably not. Go to the room for a moment and wait. She went to bed with an oil lamp. Holding the lamp, the mosquito came in and died. I look up at you. I shiver when I think about my son's craving. I'm about to turn 17. She's got a big, wide-necked shirt. Put a plump face hidden. The baggy canvas pants. White legs. There's something dark behind the lights. Many nights dreaming of sleeping with you. I'm so upset. You're dropping your feet to the ground. To get out of bed. I lost my voice and called her softly. She turned the light down and put it on the blanket. What are you asking? I didn't say anything. I just pointed at your place. You understand and say, you just put the ring. The doctor said to abstain for a month to keep it stable. In fact, I didn't know what a ring was. My tears made you. Her voice trembled, she asked. Sao Nam cry again. My voice is grumpy because I remember you loved me and you couldn't sleep. Then she put the lamp on the ground. You two share the same bed. You two can't sleep long. How many nights go to see Mom sleeping? You're afraid you can't control it. It will have unintended consequences. Everything has to come. You're dead, Mom. Then she hiccuped. Her tears flowed down her cheeks. You and I kissed again. Maybe you've thought about it. You and I will never be together like this again. My heart broke in spite of everything. The happiness has come. The end of suffering has exploded. It's like a barrage of artillery. You and I are now soaking wet. Then she comforted me like a child. You said you were satisfied. I wish I could do it with you forever. But the land that's grown. And my neighbors and my future. Maybe Lan and I become husband and wife. Her voice softened, her tears came out, she asked. Do you agree with me like that? I didn't say anything. I look at you, but I don't want to leave you anymore. I gently nodded in acceptance. I got up early the next morning to pick up my mother's bag. Stuffed with rice straw sand and climbed onto the grapefruit tree branches. Punch win sissy. My mother woke up and asked me why I didn't sleep like every meal. I didn't know I was venting my anger. The power of the age of 17. Let sweat twice a day. It's like a shower. Strangely, as time goes by, take the sadness away. I'm growing in code. The ideal height that my mother gave me. Increasingly balanced, honey cake skin with mustaches that have become a long streak. He told you not to shave it into a black beard. Every afternoon I go to the river to carry 10 pairs of vegetable water. Mother said, this is for the wedding of the army. My mother's pigs don't have enough seaweed. I have to sell rice. I'm looking forward to having a quick daughter-in-law to help. But when the east winds return, my village's corn's stratified. It's green all over the field. My mother is looking forward to getting married. Lan and I are so happy, he said. Quan and Lin are married. I also went to pick up the bride on the wedding day. I have to wait for you like a couple. I quietly asked Lane if he was sad. Are you kidding me? And then the wedding day was so fun and so exciting. The army returned in large numbers. Each pair of birds nested together is beautiful. There's a generator. Make my neighborhood like a theater ensemble. Evening when Quan and his best man returned from the girl's house. Drunk. Urgently pour out the wedding bed BA horizontal room. Where I used to sleep. The mats are spread out. In the wine-used mezzanine. You guys, you bring her A to laugh and talk like a party. I picked up the water and sat there. Have fun laughing. She came with the other women. Help my mother cook. The clay sand station emits melodious, lyrical music. About 9 p.m. When the games are buzzing. With many faces full of dirt, 2 of them cried out. I want corn. In the afternoon, the corn was ripe. I wish I had to eat now. I laughed and told you. I thought my house was in a truck. The night is dim. I took the flashlight and the little sacks that led the way. 2 sisters follow. Is it far south? It's close, I replied. To the gate. The electric light in my yard had suddenly dimmed. One sister fell down the racket. I'll flash the flashlight again. Then out, her heel is pointed at the roots of the olive tree. The loose straps slipped off the legs. Laughter is bland. Do you have to come back tomorrow? Follow us. I went with Min to the beach. The familiar road. I closed my eyes and missed the road. She panted as if running, follow me. In the fading light. Between the moon and the twinkling flashlight. Here is the field. The corn was ripened all over the field. It is located between 2 excess fields on the shore of the pond to more than 1 m, covered in grass. My sister and I are low, in the deep vastness of the field. Cool man corn leaves. The air in the cornfield is warm. The smell of wine came from my sister. That you shine in your eyes like fire. You hold a flashlight. Let me break Choose old corn. I break it fast. Soon the corn was heavy. Your breath is so warm close to my ear. As I'm bending over the crust. Let's see how corn is. Suddenly she asked softly, what grade year did you have a girlfriend? I have 2 more years of school. I have studied a lot this year, 17. I said, you're lost. I wish I could go back to the best years of my life. Moonlight students spread across the field. Just step lightly, follow me, flickering hidden. Suddenly my sister crashed into my back. I put my hand behind you. Just drifting to one side, dragging me down, Theo. Both of them. I rode down the corn trench laughing. But laughter doesn't make me forget. The feeling is strange, buzzing close to me. Makes me ecstatic, as if drunk with the heat of the wine. Right, my mother has awakened the man's instinct to rise. You and I are close together in the dream of longing. I bring my lips. The light from the flashlight that fell on the corn trench radiated into the wind. Your face. My eyes are half closed. Silently receive the kiss of the flood village boy. I'm passionate about kissing you. You're passionately receiving. Help me sit up. I brought you to the land. Pull you into my lap with your back. And then you softened in front of me. Everything has to come. I am so happy with the sounds. That echoes, just blend in with the wind's rustling corn. And drink the grass with the smell of lime. It's all bruised. Chalk on the body of the lime key attached to her hair. I don't see who's in front of me anymore. Let it all blur so that the pleasure lasts forever. Immersed in joy. Silently enjoy the sound for a long time. Just look up at me and ask. Mom, do you believe that there is love in this world? I kept quiet my age at the time. There were no books that taught me that. Through the twinkling flashlight, I see a red spot where you are. I know it's your first time. As a result, she burst into tears. I'm confused to say. You hurt me so bad. I said it hurts, my son, it hurts. But let's go, everyone's waiting. Corn sacks are brought out to the field. She walked across my shoulder and stopped. It makes you softly express, I love you. I don't know what to say, just nod silently. Go home, and everyone will separate. The light is shining on my elbow, my arm is covered in grass. I looked at it like a suspicious person. Then my eyes darkened when I saw my sister go to the bathroom. Min and I were covered in corn chalk and mud. Boiled corn water as sweet as sugar. People are fighting to drink. My voice is teasing Min something. They both laughed in their heads. The next morning, a long procession of bicycles took place. His cheeks are rosy today. A long time ago, I saw a pothole that made both of them jump. Wedding tan. The car CA union took the delegation away. My mother carried 2 bags of corn in the car. I along with the Lan carried the table to return to Miss Thao. When Lan ran away, I helped Miss Thao bring a bag of rice into the house. Turn your back and look. In your eyes as if there were tears. I have to run fast. I hurried out of the house. After the wedding, he took a week off. Saturday afternoon I cycled back from school. Go to the gate and look at the corner of the field where the AI is going. I saw the girl at the bottom of the bee's back is sifting the rice lightly. The spinning mortar, my mother screamed. It's back. It turns out that my mother said, take a shower and eat. Min, forget the pair of earrings in the bathroom garment without losing. She looked at me laughing and didn't say anything. Shortly after the husband returned. A warm family meal. 2 sisters bring tray 8 to the washing yard. My mother sat down to drink water and asked Min how she was doing. You are afraid to answer. Her number suffers, Mom. High school is only 1 year away. I don't understand why you dropped out of school. 21 years old. After the wedding, we have 2 months to get married. My husband was swept away by the flood. The whole village, she's a bored assassin. I have an uncle who loves me. Please come back as a laboratory employee. Who is also afraid. I am 8 years old and I have seen her cry a lot. I told her not to take AI anymore. My mother said, she's a beautiful girl, but her cheeks are a little high. I'm very lucky to have a bee at the bottom of my back, but her eyes are so beautiful. It's true that men don't have eyes. I told you to go to bed early. I have to stay up at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning and bring rice to the market. My husband asked me to let my wife go. Mom said, rice delivery for termites who are not familiar with it. It has not gone anywhere. Soon the man will come to where she sleeps. Let me love this bed. Who made you sleep in your father's bed? The blanket has not been washed for a long time. For more than 9 hours the village was quiet. AI home oil light climbing far away. The spring raindrops fall softly. A little cold. I carry the book walking the trail. As we approached her house, her footsteps slowed down. I haven't slept in months. Why did she look at me laughing? I remember the night that I broke corn. Footsteps like clinging back. Back to the front yard, the front door is closed. The sound of poetry in my room is so soothing. In my heart I want to see you. In the silence of the village. Step put push pile. The sound of her feet softly approaching the door. Oil lamp small screw light out. I'm combing my hair. The winter coat is not enough to cover your second round. The white flower dress with white flower wings is almost me exposed. My white calves came and she asked, "What? I forgot the book." I looked at her as if hypnotized for a moment and asked, "Did you really forget the ear?" She laughed hesitantly. "No, talent can't wait any longer. I embrace you. If anyone comes down here, why? No one comes into my room at night. I can't remember you coming back to visit." I finished listening in my heart as if celebrating. "Come back through the door and bolt to me." I dropped the mirror on the table. "Then your lips are close to mine." You and I both fell into bed. The light from the lamp shining through the bed. Pink, pink. It looks like a wedding bed. My shirt and yours disappeared in the blink of an eye, and drenched it on the bottom of my panties, soft pink paint. The smell of water comes from you. The fragrance of the young girl. Like the smell of ripe fruit. It's so charming. The sound of your joy. To the sound of poetry on the radio. Like the endless love CA. With your hands on the top of the bed, get your flashlight on. Light up to illuminate your image. There's only one pair of panties left. Your second time. The second time of the girl. In a dream I suddenly wonder. Kia side room in the wing 20 m away. My husband must be in love with Lynn too. Min's sister Min. The army is dead, it's morning. She hurried her coat in. Banging on me woke me up. I turned to look at her and opened the door. The army spoke up. "You and the guy at home. My husband and I went to the funeral at his wife's house. I'll be back in a minute. My wife has cooked breakfast. I asked you when you were in the office." My husband replied that I was working on the topic. "The two sisters will leave early tomorrow morning. I'm worried if the AI doesn't open the lab." The army said, "In time, the lab is only you. Don't worry, just close the door." I just looked for my laughing panties. "You said Nam is so strong that you can marry me. If I pull you down, why?" I laughed, and they both laughed. "I wish you were my husband." It's the husband. I'm not a husband and a father anymore. I'm in the middle of my period today. I just took the bus home this morning. I close my eyes and remember you. You can wet your pants and be ashamed to death. I risked visiting you. I was lucky to think of the ear you dropped. So I can be with you tonight. You're with your husband tonight. What's your husband for? Father Nam, remember, no. I could die with that. The laughter was chuckling enough to hear RA crack the trap door. I looked across the silent courtyard. I ran out, opened the door of the chicken coop, let the chickens run out. Lynn is carrying the pan out of the water. Those skinny white shorts with white legs. When she saw me, Lynn asked, "Does my chicken have any offspring?" "You two are about to give birth, sister," I said. "Run to the bathroom." I quickly changed into yesterday's little clothes. The pants are still king, the smell of fragrant oil and the smell of a soft breeze. Of the woman. Dandruff woke me up. The fragrance of spring flowers fluttering, signaling the coming spring. After changing, look again. The fit body of a 17-year-old. My bright face smirked complacently. Well, RA is handsome too. Lynn left the house and locked the door. I went to my desk to study some of the lessons she'd given me in class. She washed her clothes outside the yard and went in. My sleep didn't fall all night. I dreamily fell asleep on the desk. I woke up when there was someone with me. The skin was cool and suddenly the land flowed through me. Man, lend me a car pump. Pump it out on the shelf. Out the window, I said. Man figure with long smooth hair on her back. The 13-year-old is showing off her beautiful flower. Suddenly, I thought of you. The beauty of you. Uncle Son's big tall. Seems to be focusing on the eyes. For beautiful lips, she looks like the angel of her only child. Min came to me quietly asked who was that Nam. Your neighbor, the child you met at your wedding. I said it's beautiful, but not as beautiful as you. You punched me in the shoulder. I run and you chase me. Both rolled out of bed. Cool the fragrance radiating from your hair. Then I whispered softly. Nam, you are so beautiful. How did he love you back then? She looked at me blankly. I asked again. How are you and your lover getting married? I know your husband talks a lot about you. Tears slowly land transmission. Sister, I'm sorry. You're welcome. Your story is over. Only thing, your face is too much like his. In the past, he only held hands. And kiss your lips. Only once. I've been sad for years, and now I don't want to marry anyone. The number of people you are involved in is suffering. I love you once is enough. No matter where you go in the future, you have to forget about me. Make your family happy. I listen to you and tears flow. She kissed me and hugged me tight. You and I did it happily. At noon, I went to the market for lunch, and there were 3 happy people. The rice is done. I went over to the land to help it solve the problem. Back I walked in the side door. Min is sitting behind my mother pulling out her gray hair. Your small voice is telling about your life. My mother's early tears told me. The family is 15 years old. Please let me raise my mother to get a place to go. My mother is happy. My sister cried forever and I was silent and could not speak. It was evening when my sister-in-law closed the door. I rushed in from the straw. Min picked me up with a quick jerk of emotions. My sister and I were drunk hugging each other. You kissed me like the end of the world. You kissed me so hard. When your singing drops are pouring out. You and I do. That one. The voices of men and women echoing through the house. With hundreds of insects. The empty garden at the end of the neighborhood become the endless fire ca. I opened the door at 3 in the morning. Just stumbling by the room window. He called when he was just about to leave the car. I came from the haystack to you quietly said. I wish you a safe and happy journey. The guy from behind laughed. This guy is about to become an adult. My brother and sister are about to leave. The pig sold for $800, my father said. That's my whole year's salary. So he doesn't count the labor of 3 caregivers or SAO. You're the only one who's happy. Always nice clothes. In this life, I let you take care of the water. In the next life you have to stay there. My father just smiled. My husband is very sad to look at you. Eyes etched in sleepless nights. Remember the day we went to pick up the bride when people are busy in the house? I went to the well with the land to draw the water flag. Wash your face, the well is so shallow there's some bone dust. It's clear blue water coming out of the brick. I wonder if it's because of the water here. Woman drinking and bathing, to make a woman so pink and beautiful. January, the whole virtual garden comes to life. Peach tree, plum tree in front of Hoa Pagoda showing off its colors. It looks like a vivid picture on the street. The flowers soared into the sky like lights. Let thousands of starlings fly back from the green forest, fighting in the trees and singing day and night. As she reclines to the shadow bed she Thao. My sister Min and the snow kept coming out, making me anxious. There is no army at your house. I go to school in the morning and help you in the afternoon. My mother and sister took turns bringing rice to the market for termites. Good student class. I have to study all day. The spring is warm. One afternoon I went to her house. Only the Lan at home alone. Just kidding, I'm back. My mother and sister-in-law are peeling potatoes. The potato basket between the two of you caught my attention. Horizontal scan. My eyes sparkle when I look at your pants. Wearing wide shorts with legs to sit. From the distance that still looms. You're bowing your head. I looked up at my mother's red eyes. Okay, let's go to the grave and cut him some medicine. I didn't know he was like that when he was 13. I didn't get to see it. What does it say to you? No, he's bored too. His is like a boiled vegetable. My little sister's words I can't hear. I only saw my mother's voice, not for a 10-year-old boy. Your head is like a dead sail. Maybe the girl will be tired later. Lynn laughed. I didn't even know you caught her. I rushed to bed. I lie with my eyes closed thinking. That was the old thought. Moments with Min. I thought RA was my sister-in-law's brother. Turns out it's just an illusion. Not going to school every afternoon, I helped her cut vegetables, cook bran, and grind rice. I was busy all day and my mother was sad. I just know I'm a good student. It's time to prepare for the teacher exam. So I had to learn. Strangely enough, the tests I'm still on top. The rice mill is getting more and more alive. There's more grain. My mother kept complaining. I haven't seen a mountain pass through the village in a long time. Then one morning I was studying. Mortar. Mortar. My mother rushed out the door screaming at the mortar. The miller is about 40 years old. I don't know what to eat, but my hands are full. My mortar is finished. At night watching the workman lying on his back on the brick floor, my room is a little quiet and carefree. I'm naturally annoyed. I asked her to make one and she agreed. The mortar is finished. The earthenware must be brought to her yard. I noticed the workman's eyes looking at her as if to swallow. I don't know why you keep seeing me. You talk to him like a flute. My eyes glanced so that my love was so sad. The next day at noon when I left, she glanced at me and asked, "Did you sleep well last night? The day before, I went to break corn and fell." I quietly left. My mother goes to the market until noon. I brought back some medicine. The next day the car took me and my two teachers. Take your friends back to the city. I did both of my exams perfectly. Always praise me. Man, I've made your teacher look good. I've only seen you for so many years. He came home to welcome me warmly, he said. So you and I both succeeded. I laughed, but I kept thinking about it. Why is your success incomplete? I looked at my sister-in-law and turned on the northern medicine. Red cheeks come out, give me some medicine. I wonder why I can't share it with him. And the sentence you caught me. Lynn said the day before, how should my mother pay for it? Here. The two of us sold a little bit of sows. But it's hard to take care of these men. Lynn laughed at me. even though Sao also has a male companion. A few days later, the army returned to the office. The house is back in peace with the old way. I'm like a shuttle mother and sister-in-law. The new mill is heavy. I pull by. Mother and sister Lynn pounded rice not in time. My mother used to go to bed early to take the rice to the school market at 4 o'clock tomorrow morning. Up to 9 hours. I walked out to the training ground for continuous punching when hutch. The bag goes up and down. It seems that the energy of heaven has not disappeared. To reach out and pull the single beam. 12BA124. Your voice counts. It was Lynn who went away from the bathroom. I laughed and said I haven't seen anyone as strong as you. I let go of my hand standing close to you in my blouse. Your arms are white and smooth. Shorts. Her long legs glowed under the full moon. The fragrance of grapefruit leaves, sometimes flying in the air. Get out of your sister. You said you used to go to school. Let me try it. I jumped on the beam too high to reach. I stepped closer to her side. 1 or 2, help me 1 or 2. Nom, help me down. Let go of your breath. I'm tired of admitting that Nom is really healthy. I saw you go to bed. I asked, but it's hard to sleep. I went into the house for a while and carried the rice away. Tomorrow is also good. I see a lot of fish. I speak up. You can leave a little more until tomorrow. You can't sleep now. The rice mill is on the left. On the side of the room and the army. My mother's sleeping in the other room. The vast garden of banana forest filled with lungs. The moon's glow shone through the leaves. Throughout the garden, the area where the rice mill sank in the dark. When the moon's light is passed by the clouds, my poor God walked closer to you. I'll chain up so you can help Cho. The rice mill, it's from my grandfather's life. All the Moors fluttered. The weight of the legs of life force 17. Make the mortar bounce up and down like a miracle. The head of a deep loud mill rubbing against each layer of rice. Swinging rice splashed array. I suddenly bent down. The longitudinal lever binds the 2 sides of the rope so that the handrail wobbles. She rubbed hard on me. Both of them silently tied their hair behind. Smell of pigeon. Just aim right at my nostrils and inhale. My body fluttered, made the man's instinct rise. The last beat lost the handrail, gave away. You go back. The sound of the thunder. I heard my breath as if more urgent. And then there was silence and no one said a word to anyone. At that moment the clouds passed over the moon's shadow. Make the space dark again. Just turn your head and whisper. Your voice is like the wind. Nom nom and my eyes are blurry. Her face appeared in the dark. 2 faces facing the lips touching each other. The mortar stands still for the gasps. The whole person. You're hot as fresh bread coming out of the oven. Falling into my arms. And then suddenly I saw that you were so stunned. Nom nom, wait for you to put the mortar. You 2 are drunk. Leaning each other through the door. Close quickly and fasten the door latch. And we drop things on the bed and laugh at each other. The moon's glow outside the projection window pierced through. The light's on. You and I are so close together. Shorts. Where are the flowers and your shirt? My lips are burning and you don't want to leave. Turns out this is my sister-in-law's first time. It turns out that the night of, my brother can't do any business. Then my breath softened. I fell to the side of the bed. The moon's glow from the window behind the chamber shine on your face and you. Your eyes are closed. I'm glad to ask you again. Are you happy? I closed my eyes and didn't answer. In the silence of the empty night of the chamber, the air is somewhat stuffy. I took the fan with a mop and fluttered the wind. Sometimes I lean over my back. I lay down beside you again. I looked closely at my sister-in-law's face. The moon's rays pierced through the garden. Each layer of banana leaves was drenched. The night dew reflects the soft light. Follow the moon's shadow. Where did the feeling of fusion go before? Look up at the crossbar. The VA Lee holding Kwan's book appeared in front of his eyes. Through the door, it seems that the army's eyes are watching. I'm running a little fever in my head. The oil lamp on Kwan's desk. Your shadow is sitting still looking at me. His lips moved as if to tell me something that I can't predict. The cold wind came trembling. Oh my God, why do this? Lynn is my brother's wife. My husband has guided me a lot. Ever fix what math problem I ask that you can't solve? I love you because you have never argued with me. Your shadow is as close to me, stiffly closing my eyes. Then the old memories came back. When I read the handwriting book that you put on the table, I feel unspeakable joy. So you've read that too. But now, she looked at Lynn, who had her back against the window. When the tears are rolling down my cheeks. Just like me, both are rolling up in their heartfelt regrets. Only the insiders understand. The moon's glow fades away in a hazy glow. I sat up and looked into her eyes, confused. Not say a word. Put your clothes back on and go to the bathroom. I walked in and picked up the soap. Give me a face towel. I'm sorry, I'm sure you know I'm dead. You are no better than me. She said. I sat far from the bed with my legs down. You come to me. I asked softly. Are you and your husband happy? Silence for a moment, and then I raised my eyes. Her face was filled with tears, and she asked me back. Can you believe this is my wedding night? I saw your mother buy you medicine. Do you mean to ask why you know I bow my head in silence? Don't you know? If only he had a tenth of me. You are also doomed. Getting married is not difficult. Compared to my neighbors, I think it's boring. But you also have some desire to be like other women. All week ago, take his medicine like a boiled melon. He holds your hand. When you were a little new with him, he's as thin as rice water. I'm bored. I didn't expect it. My life has seen this irony. Her tears streamed down my cheeks. I love you so much. I had a vague understanding of what family happiness was. Her sister trembled. Her sister-in-law choked. The thought that just vanished. I looked deep into your eyes. You are in my heart. The thunder is echoing, as a sign of a stormy season rising. Where this flooded village, the orphan wind from the river flowed in from time to time, as if to tear apart the heat. Whole banana garden infused. I reclined when the first rainstorm came. She looked up at me, waiting. Her cheeks are red with curled eyelashes. The sound of the rain falling, that's when my lips were attached to yours. My sister-in-law is away now. Tears of joy for 1,000 words to say. Sister Mom did it with you. My eyes are wide open. I didn't say anything. I said yes, without saying anything. You and I are both happy. They both fell into a dreamy sleep. I'm thinking like I'm swimming in the river. You whispered. What are you dreaming about? It's almost morning. Are you going to bed? I quickly dressed and slipped through the window. Walking through a yard full of rainwater. I go to my bed now. A moment behind the door of the howl. My mother woke up. Claw back the hair. I went to the yard and watched my mother tirelessly loading 2 bags of rice. I step forward. I can't let you drive me. I ran the ice to deliver rice to my mother. I went home and fell on the bed. Sometimes on the left side of the house, sister-in-law's rice baseball is ringing. The rustling early rain. I woke up when my mother came home from the market. The rain in my village is not very heavy, but in the white water side of the copper. Wash your face after hunger. The smell of frogs and the smell of fragrant leaves. My mother said the frogs are fat. This species is very talented. All winter hiding behind in the cave just waiting for the rain. When your partner calls. Each couple hugged each other tightly. Let the eggs wait. Waiting in the belly to be pictured. And then grow up and maintain. It was a fun meal, my mother kept muttering. Your father's father. 2 bags of rice are so heavy that they keep crossing the ice. I can't keep up. Lynn's sister-in-law looked at me with eyes as if they were affectionate. Grateful, just grab the food and laugh. Very well, Mom. I was surprised when I read the draft for the exam. RA is the girl sitting next to me, that day when I showed it to you. When you finish copying, return the address and text. Charity will find each other. It's peaceful on the side of the village. Yellow straw stretched under the wheel. Looking at the rice fields. It's like a warm season. The feet of the field soon turned yellow. Flocks of tiled birds from the forest. The red mountains converge on the field. That night, a picture of her appeared. Lies on the edge of the wasteland. Hold me tight. My face is hot. Look at the field on the other side. The tiled bird rolls its feet on the bamboo branch. Are dancing. Well, Ra's luring the birds. He is the father of snow. He waved me into the grove. It's plugged in with green leaf ships. Sitting next to him watching his arms rhyming with his muscles. I shiver at the thought of that night. If the father of snow catches himself wondering, how is the snow now? Where are you going? I haven't seen you in a while. He said he went rafting. Well, that's what rafting is, he said. I will play at your wedding someday. I asked who married the snowman. He told me to startle and I was sad. Snow is getting married. My husband is the boss I work for. He's dead, his wife is 40. Get a decent family. I ran home with a bunch of vegetables. I feel guilty. The snow has been waiting for me to get home from school. But I'm afraid of the father of snow, the feeling of fluttering and infatuation. On a stormy night running buffalo, the floodwater came back. That the 16-year-old is as stupid as I am. When the snow comes back. In a field of water. That's what I said. Leave the snow 7 times. Dreaming of an incomplete first love. Like a boat. Today, I drove sideways to find the dock at the end of the source. Come down in the afternoon, my mother said. It hasn't rained these days. Go out and water the vegetables and sow the seeds. I go on. The field behind the yellow sun is about to die off on the horizon. The whole field is filled with the fragrance of mustard flowers, some yellow butterflies trying to flutter their wings and suck the honey droplets. Finally, the field burst forth. The picture of the flower season by the river looks so poetic. I waded down the river. Picture Peeling Village, the faraway buffalo field. Like remembering the AI shadow on the waterfront. Her hair was blurry and her calves were plump. The river's surface lethargically stroked Theo. Each bunch of vegetables turned sideways and upside down. So that's the snow. The snow was flabbergasted to see me wading down. Nom, nom. Go to his house by the river. I'm carrying water to water my mother's vegetables. The snow climbs up. Finally lying still on the light. The snow's face was pink and glistening with drops of water. Look at me, the snow says. Nom Din River Bath. There is a lot of water in the river. I will go to the river tomorrow to take a shower. The snow is so innocent. Their plump faces are also smooth. Full of linen pants. Swallowing corn saliva, I walked over to the snow and asked. Snow is getting married. Look up at the snow. Please marry me in about half a month. My arm gently holds the water, drifting as the snow falls. I held the snow in my arms. The harbor is empty of darkness. I can't see the face anymore. I looked up at the snow's eyes as if asking, Is Nom in love? I whispered. I always remember the snow, two lips tied together in a split second. Brother, there are two lights. I suddenly remembered our aide died and someone went down to the river and died. Running like flying, I quickly grabbed the light and pierced it straight into the trees. Snow like the Korean princess. She was embarrassed when I walked next to her. The river's surface swayed in the wind. The sound of fishing boats on the river. The new moon is as thin as a crescent. In the dark space. It sometimes flares up when the moon splinters through the water. Illuminate a river, find the shadow of a passing boat. Light on the river. Make the water's surface flutter. You two are so engrossed in kissing. You two have a lot of hard feelings. Suddenly the snow asked. I know Snow is getting married. I said, when you say you are married, do you still remember the snow? I don't remember standing here. How is the snow? My husband is old. The snow was only seen when he came to the house twice. My wife is almost as old as Snow. The poor god was silent. The snow suddenly choked. A moment later he looked up and said, That's all my life is. It is enough to love you once because you are a poor girl. My hands loosened because I thought of the father of Snow. Let's go home. My father will find me and die. The snow laughed. He's rafting. My mother came home at the funeral. Only my brother. Come out in the afternoon. I've cooked rice. When that AI's echo of questions just came up. Where the river pier next village. It's also the time when it's snowing and I'm reclining on the grass. Silent sobs. My lips fluttered by my ears. Snow is Thao. I miss you so much. Both are silent as sheets. It feels like waiting for something. All the same space and emotions stopped. Listening to the converging breath. The feeling of joy. Where men and women intersect. Then the two of us soared up to 9 clouds. The moon's shadow on the face of Snow. Big black eyes whispered dreamily by my ears. The voice of Snow. Mom, I love you so much. If you remember each other tomorrow, call each other by the river. The river will send words to the wind. And the snow wants to keep what they gave each other. I whispered. Snow, if you were a boy, you'd name me Saffron. Then the feeling goes up and the snow goes on. Me and the snow again. Then I went home. People drenched in clothes that have not been changed. My mother asked me why I've been gone so long. I was swimming in the river with my friends. At that time the land her son Thao ran through. Dear, help me with the math. The sound of the loan turned around and I laughed. You didn't eat rice. Why are you eating late today? I didn't answer. I went into the bathroom and said, "Alright. When you go home, I'll show you." The cool water from the well woke me up. Look down at the bleeding knees. The smell of grass is everywhere. The warmth of the snow is still there. Strangely, it's only been almost a year. The snow has grown so fast. I don't know if the snow has eaten yet. Snow knows. The fear rises, but interrupted when the sister-in-law's voice called. Please eat rice and let me wash it. After dinner, look out into the yard. The beginning of the month was at the top. I walked through the garden greeting Miss Thao. Then I sat down. The Lan asked. Lan scratched his head and asked if he knew anything. I shook his head. In my class, my friend wrote a letter to his girlfriend and then the teacher caught me making that assessment. I asked if you wrote a letter to anyone. I don't need to write, I just need to look. Lan said that. Give me your problem. Lan quickly ran in to get the play out. Let me show. Give him a lecture and I'll go home. Because it was over 10 o'clock. To my house to go quickly to the bedroom. Lock pin, and then I'm lying there thinking I can't escape. Why do I remember the snow? Although I also love Thao and Min. But with the snow, why does it feel so different? Think of snow as a person. I'm hot again and the desire to get. But it's too late. Snow is about to get married. But contrary lines of thought invaded my mind again. The man whom the snow took, it is not affectionate. And also because of the difficult circumstances, it's imperative to marry. If I grow up to be more responsible. And not for the joy of youth. Not now. To feel so lost. The night is falling. It's getting more and more confused. And I feel a little bit of regret about what I did. It's snow day to get married. I wasn't brave enough to go there. Fear of not being able to face yourself. I know I really love snow. My whole family is gone. My mother and sister-in-law are both gone. I'm sitting in my house thinking. Should I go or not? If you really love snow, I just want to see it happy and be happy. Why are you happy with an old man? Are in a confused state of mind. I heard the sound of the army. Mom, come and see. What have you been thinking about so sad? I hear you. I was afraid of the snow. So I rushed to the army to get through. Because the wedding is coming to an end. To stand in front of the happy party. AI also has a happy feeling. Bless the snow. But only one person is sad and sorry. Dare not to enter. Is me. I was 10 inches ahead of me when the snow looked back at me. Look at each other silently. It's like there are only two hearts beating together. Our feeling. Talk to each other and find out what each other is thinking. I hid behind the bamboo dust in front of the house. Snowman smells of old bath milk. It's still beautiful and innocent. But no longer pure and innocent. Looking at the snow, I felt a sense of restlessness. I asked softly. Is the snow happy? Yes, I can leave before dark. I forgot about you and I was so happy. I waved in my neck. Snow, what's the name of the child? That's exactly what my old promise to me was. He gave birth to a son named Tongue. I'm so excited. Snow still remembers her promise. I thank you for keeping your promise. You have to be happy. I can't stand by the snow. But I wish the snow would be happy and be compensated. Part of the soul. In the bright light that I took away. Even though I've worked with many women. Adult, but only one person is most important to me. Ever since the snow did that, I've never done anything sinful with any other woman. I promise myself that only. Save this for your future wife. Like a girl named Snow who avoided the flood. It's a memory and a lesson to remind me that the heart can move with many people. You can only love one person. Not for the momentary pleasure and desire. That took the first time of many girls. And later regret it. I regret losing the girl I love. Ladies and gentlemen of the audience, please close the story here. Thank you for listening. Hello, goodbye, and see you in the next stories.